everyone. Thanks for coming into this webinar. As mentioned, you can ask any questions on the Q&A section and we will address them at the end. So let's get started. So today we're going to talk about the new updated admin UI and specifically the team folder UI. Okay. We're going to go over a little bit of short history about how this admin UI and the team folders had worked before. Some of the classic admin UI versus new admin UI, the team folders new redesign, and we're going to go into questions and answer at the end. So the admin UI has been there ever since FileCloud started. I've been here for a few years, so I still got to know the classic UI. We had a brief redesign in 2018 from both admin and user UI. Then we had a complete user UI redesign in 2020 and 2021. Last year, we began doing some updates on the admin side as well. That's phase one. You could see that on the left menu with a new button if you've been around. And those were basically the dashboard that you see now, that it's a completely more customizable user interface. We also had the groups, a new admin role-based, and the governance. That was basically what we were working on. Now, in the phase two, which began on December last year, is where we updated the whole UI to avoid some issues between both user interfaces. And we completely revamped the team folders. Okay, so this is how the classic user interface used to look and feel. You can see on the left menu that it was very distinctive what was new on the section. We had the dashboard, groups, admins, smart DLP, and compliance from governance, and this was the look and feel. Basically, it behaves the same way most of the time. We have buttons on the top right to do some actions, and we can select the items on the center part. Besides that, we have a paging option, so there was no way to see more than 10 items per page. Every time you had to go moving from back and forth with the bottom menu bar. The team folder is the same thing. There was no actions that you could do directly on the folders. You had to check the box on the left side of the list. And all the action options were on the top bar. The sharing was also managed on the right side with manage. And same thing, you had to go left and right to navigate when you had more items. Now, what has changed since December? So first of all, if you noticed before, there was a big difference between the classic UI and the new UI based on fonts, colors, and most importantly, how it loads. So that means now we're not going to have any more full page reloads, and that happened because we were using one type of framework for the user interface before, and then we were using a different one. So if you switch from different menu options from the classic UI, you wouldn't see a page reload. But if you switch between something new and something old, you will see a full page reload, which completely havocs the user interface. Now, the standard look and feel, as I mentioned, is now more standard. You're going to see the same fonts, the same colors, even though some sections haven't been completely updated to have a new option. So just to give you an example, the users, they still behave the same. It's just that now you're going to see a different look and feel. And future, we're going to do more updates on the user interface, so it's more like the team folders that you're going to see today. So first of all, you will see this. We will switch now to the browser so you can see what I mean. Before, this is what we had, right? So this is the dashboard. If I go to users, you will see a full page reload, and you will see the classic UI, and you will see the new menu items. So if I switch anything from classic, it will only reload the center part. But if I go back to anything that it was new, you will see a full reload. So now The dashboard, it's more intuitive here, and it has the same look and feel. But the major difference is that now that we navigate through different sections, these, even though it hasn't been completely redesigned, it at least is going to match the look and feel for the rest of the admin user interface. So if I switch to groups, admins, network shares, everything is working with the new UI, and we're going to continue to update to all these items to a more user-friendly user interface in the coming months. But now it's at least it matches the same user interface. Now, in the major change, which was a complete redesign, is the team folders user interface. So what we used before is that the team folders, it will show you on the center part the team folders that you have available. And to share, you will have to click on manage. You will see this all classic user interface of buttons. And to get more of the buttons, you will have to click on miscellaneous. And any action that you wanted to do, there was no, as you can see, there is no right-click option, right? You had to check on the button, delete the file, copy, rename, move, or click on permissions. Anything that you wanted to do had to do like a double step action to be able to complete it. Now, if you go into your team folders, if you have been using FileCloud for some time, you will notice that this is very similar to the user interface. It's basically, you can add folders and files with the button onto the top right, but the actions is no longer a checkbox and action. You can have this hover menu that you can use for anything that you want to do. For example, if you want to click on share, you see that you have the same look and feel that you have from the user interface. And it's much more intuitive and much easier to manage than before, because now you can have all the options available from here. So let's say I want to give myself some permissions in here. You can see here that now delete, manage, all these options are becoming available directly from this section of the user interface, and straightforward like that. Same thing with permissions. If I want to manage the permissions, this UI, it looks fairly similar to what we had before, but matches the new look and feel. And we can add users and groups to restrict permissions to anything that you want to do. Okay. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we have our main menu, which allows us to upload, download, and do any folder action. The hover buttons that show in the middle, the new share UI, and the new permissions. One other key element here is that now, because we're using the new UI engine, there is no more paging. So if you want to load more items, let's say we had like 100 items on the main folder, you can continue to scroll and get to all the files that you want. And one thing that it was very important is that before you were not able to multiple select items, and you can now do, which makes more easier reorganizing the folders or reorganizing the files. Okay, so how do you upgrade to this new version? If you are a user of FileCloud Online or you're interested in using FileCloud Online, this UI has been automatically upgraded since December 2022. If you're using FileCloud on-premise and you're still not on FileCloud 22.1, you can upgrade on Windows using the manual upgrade tool, or in Linux using the command upgrade tool. Some questions that we normally get when we have this kind of major redesign change is in the admin UI, can I switch to the old user interface? And unfortunately, no, this is a complete change that leaves behind the old UI. And what happens to your current team folder setup if you had it before? It will continue to work the same way. It's just going to show up with the new user interface. So we have that, that's automatically done. If you are using anything prior version, FileCloud version 18, if you're coming from a very old version, you're going to be able to upgrade. And the big difference is that before version 18, we didn't have team folders. So And the big difference is that you can convert any user that you were previously using to share folders between your users to a team folder account. And the big difference is that that team folder account doesn't count as a license seat. So you're actually freeing up a license if that's the case. Okay. So, and where can you get more information about the new UI, the new features for 22.1, and how everything is working? We have a full documentation of the new team folders. We have a specific blog article that you can go check, which is basically pointing out how you did things before and how you do the things on the new UI. You can check on the release notes, and you can contact support for further help. So thank you. We're going to some questions and answers right now. Let's see what we have here. So are the team folders exactly the same between the admin and the user interfaces? And is the content the same? If not, what is the difference? So they are almost the same. One major difference, and we can see that here from the user UI. Let's switch to here. Second. So if you see here from the admin UI, the major difference is that there is no option to right-click and create folders. You still have to do that from here, but you do have the option to hover the menu, right? So you can still have all the options available, but there is no option to create a folder from here or to create a file from here. Other than that, it's exactly the same. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, perfect. So I think that's all we have for today. If we can wrap it up, and we're going to send the deck for you to review. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact support and check our documentation.